I often feel like paintings are containers for feelings. They catch everything that's going on inside and around you, which gets transmuted through the body into a physical image that's experienced not just through the eyes, but through other senses too. When I started this series 10 months ago, I decided to try and ignore some of the boxes I put myself into and just paint what I wanted, and then see what the paintings had to tell me at the end. These works hold threads of connection between the people in my life and the seasons, marked by changes in light throughout the year. I see life's circularity, marking time, and seeing the markings of time in your own passage, as well as colour and what happens to colour and light when the sun goes down. A lot of the scenes come from familiar places, the share house and garden where I live, our local suburb, and other places connected to friends and family. There's an enduring interest in darkness, and darkness as a psychological space, or somewhere that represents our internal selves. I like to paint nighttime because that's when I feel like my most honest self. The internal and external landscape are the same colour. The title for this show comes from the poem Dead Stars by Ada Limon. Often when I'm making a series of work, a bit of writing will find me and become the mirror for the work. It helps me see what I'm doing. There's a line from Dead Stars that's stayed with me over the past 5 months. I'm a hearth of spiders these days, a nest of trying. All my paintings start with living, with looking and paying attention to singular moments of light, the bend of a tree, the folds of someone's hand. I take a lot of photos on my phone and then draw from them and make small gouache studies. Drawing is pretty key for me. It shifts an image into an experience. I like seeing the marks of my body on the page. Drawing helps me make sense of what I see and feel. It's my way in. When I paint, I like to use a lot of medium and get the paint really thin and slippery. I'm interested in a surface that has some flatness to it, with shapes of colour pushed up against each other. I usually only have 1 or 2 layers of paint on a surface because I love the fresh honesty of first marks, and the luminosity of the white ground coming through. It makes the experience more heightened, because there's always a risk of it all going wrong and having to wipe the whole thing off. Making a painting is a lot like reading a poem. You don't really know where it's going. You don't know how it's going to end. You just have to let it carry you. A painting to me isn't a statement or a description, but an experience, an invitation, a question. It connects with the part of you that exists without shame, the part that's closest to tears. And when that meeting happens, new worlds become possible. There's a line on my studio wall by Bonnard that encapsulates how I often feel about making art. Nature is infinite, the work is finite. The distance between idea and execution, inspiration and creation, is always impossibly large to me. But that dissatisfaction and that trying is what pulls me onward. I think when we try to make anything, a garden, a relationship, a meal, protest, a painting, a community, we come into contact with failure again and again. But in the trying, we enter something. We hold hands with the unknown, and that dance is what makes life worth living. In the trying, we are like trees, reaching upwards.